if I take this lighter and put it near this glass inside out like that, and they hold it there for a long time, well, eventually, if it's hot enough, like the sun, and the sun is inside that glass, eventually it's going to create that little bulge, like I talked about before. That's why we get so-called gravitational lensing. It's actually real glass lensing caused by refraction that displaces the stars. But also, if I hold it there long enough like that, the area of the glass is going to be much harder, much hotter. I'm trying to say the word hotter than the area that's closer to the flame. And so that's exactly what we're having. People like Donald Scott from the Electric Universe crowd cannot figure out why the heat of the sun is much harder. I keep saying harder. Much hotter away from the photosphere than the actual sun, because he doesn't realize there's actually a glass sphere enveloping the sun. And that's why we get the 22nd degree halo. That's from that glass sphere that's surrounding the sun. That's also why we get the luminary effect. It's like multiple rainbows. Sometimes if you see a primary rainbow, I can talk. Because it's probably laminated. I mentioned that in a previous video. But that's why we get more heat away from the photosphere of the sun. Donald Scott and people like that. That's why I cannot understand the sun. Yeah, you can call it a transformer, like Eric Dollard said, but the backside is flat and dark. And you never see the backside because of the bending of the light. But that's the reason why it's hotter, because it's encased. Scripture calls it the tabernacle for the sun. So it's enveloping, that glass sphere is enveloping the sun. And yeah, it's going to, that heat really has nowhere to go for the most part, because there is it's not totally vacuumous up there. It's not quite a vacuum, and so there is going to be hydrogen and other elements above that glass sphere which envelops the sun and the planets. And so that heat, it can't really go anywhere, and so it's going to stick to the glass, and that's why you measure the glass to be hotter than the photosphere of the sun, because it's hitting a hard, tangible obstacle in glass. Understand? I think you understand. That's why it's a mystery. That's why you cannot figure out the sun. There's no convection going on, because the sun is not a ball. It's not. I mean, you see the sun expanding and contracting sometimes. Well, realize it's behind glass, multiple layers of glass, and refraction is playing an effect upon that. What's going on? You're inside the concavity of the earth with glass skies. There's also a dark space. That's why we don't see the glass, like the 100-kilometer glass. We don't really see any artifacts, any like caustic effects. We do get the Doppler rings though, and that's another mystery that's solved with glass in the sky. Yeah. It's not a dome over a flat disk. No. It's glass spheres within the concavity of the spherical earth. And that's why, Donald, the area away from the photosphere of the sun is hotter, because it's hitting the glass obstacle, and that heat has nowhere to go, cannot escape. It's bulging out. It's creating the lensing effect. That's what's happening. Eventually, most of that, because the sun is moving like that, so the heat will either dissipate or return back to the octahedron on the other anti-solar point. So there is a return. That's also explained perfectly with my understanding of the fact that there is a return to the magnetic field lines of the sun. It's returning to the backside, to the anti-solar side, opposite the sun, and going back to the octahedron. It's cyclical. Within a heliocentric model, you have nowhere where those magnetic field lines return. They have to return. Come on, scientific community. Back me, acknowledge that I'm right. I waited long enough. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I am Lord, and this is the beginning of the sectioning between myself and you all. I'm different than you. I'm the creator, regenerated, reincarnated, and I'm about to experience the joys and pleasures of all my hard work, exposing the deception, and then manifesting and starting up my kingdom. And there is going to be destruction coming too, but for my people that believe me with their heart, with the conviction and the contrition inside their heart, my kingdom will start, and it'll be a marriage, right? Talk about it like the marriage supper of the Lamb, the marriage between Creator and my creation. That's going to be happening. And so my wedding garment, my seal, is an indication that you belong in my wedding. Is that understood? Okay. I love you. Bless you with that.